Welcome to the first look seminar of the year. And Gino Bacola, we should have been opening right today on December 26th at Santa Anita. And thank God the rain has come in buckets. And hopefully, well, it looks like it's going to clear up this evening. So we should have a beautiful day on Sunday. And we have a lot to look forward to, Gino.
Yeah, we would be about 25 minutes to post for race number 1 right now on opening day normally, but we're going to push that opening day 2 days back because with all the wet weather, all the great racing, we would have had races off the grass. There would have been scratches all over the place, safety of the horses. So we're going to have an awesome opening day on Sunday, which will be great. And that means Santa Anita opening, all those great promotions, all those great things that we love at Santa Anita that will be back. Don't forget about Showviver, the Pick'em contest every Saturday and Sunday. So Sunday right away, you can get involved. Don't forget about the Coast to Coast wagers, right? The Sunset 6, the Coast to Coast Pick 5, whenever there's Gulfstream Park in Santa Anita. So on Sunday, sequence for the Coast to Coast Pick 5 is already out. We've got a huge tournament on opening day over at ExpressBet. I don't need to tell Noah about tournaments. I know Noah and his buddies have been crushing it in the tournament scene as of late. So, I mean, I love it when Santa Anita's opening. We got so much action, so much opportunity, and a fantastic 11 race card on opening day.
Yeah, opening day, as Gino said, 11 race card starting at 11 a.m. And if you like racing, well, we're going to have it this week because we race Sunday, Monday, no Tuesday, but then we race Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So plenty of races, seminars, Skip, and I see you there with Zenyatta ready to roll on opening day.
Yeah, buddy. You know, it's weird because it doesn't feel like the day after Christmas because, you know, we're getting ready. We'd be at the track and, you know, but they made the right call. I mean, I live real close to the track and it's pouring right now. So they made the right call and Sunday's going to be great. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. And I tell you what, our Christmas comes on Sunday, opening day, and it's a great card that they put out. I can't wait to get my wall calendar, and I'm glad Noah, I just met him. I'm glad he's joining us, and hopefully everybody had a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and fear not, the rain looks like it's going to end around 6 p.m. tonight, and then all sunny skies on Saturday and again on Sunday. And we welcome in Noah Maher from HHH Racing Podcast. We see the University of Kentucky, but he's a SoCal man himself, and we're glad to have you guys back as a partner, and we welcome you into the show, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much, and happy holidays to everybody out there. And I know we've got some good stuff going on the HHH Racing Podcast right now on YouTube. You can find us there and on Twitter as well. And we just started a new show, which I believe was filmed a couple of days ago with myself, Howard Kravitz, and another host on the network, Kyle Roscoe. New show called Wire to Wire that's designated solely to the Coast to Coast Pick 5, Santa Anita Gulfstream. So really excited for that. And obviously Sunday they got a great card that we're going to get into shortly. Really excited to talk about that with you guys.
Yeah, no doubt. And let's get it started, Gino. We got a great card, as you said, and we are going to be covering the late pick 5 today. That starts in race 7 at Santa Anita. We're going 6.5 furlongs down the hill. And Gino Bacola, full fields all the way through. A lot of wide open races, even in this sequence. So an interesting opening day card. But let's talk about race 7 down the hill.
Yeah, I think the race where you probably have the biggest favorite all day long will be Nisos, and that'll be earlier on in the card on purpose. It won't be a part of that late pick 5 sequence, which is just awesome. Big fields. And one more bit of information. Just remember, early card. So it's first post on Sunday is going to be 2:00 p.m. Eastern time, 11:00 a.m. local time. This is a little different than normal, where you're normally going a little bit later. So keep that in mind so you don't miss any of the early action. Race 7, Chappie, down the hill. I thought for this type of a race on paper, it didn't seem like there was that much early speed in here. I think that is going to impact a little bit of the way that I'm handicapping this race. Because of that, I absolutely want to use a horse like the 8 Mucho Del Oro, who we know is really, really quick. Now, he's a 7-year-old getting ready to turn 8, so he's getting a little bit older. But even his recent form, very fast. He loves the 6.5. And he's been facing better as of late. Just look at the races he's coming out of. The optional 80 and on 2. He's 4th in the Eddie D. 2 starts back behind Reef Runner. Reef Runner is one of the best turf sprinters out there right now. You look at who he's facing right before that. Optional $100,000 non-winners of 2 races. This is a lot softer spot for him. He'll be able to go 6.5 down the hill, the trip that he really likes. To me, I have to have him in my pick 5 because there are versions of this race turning for home. He's got a length on the field, and I want to make sure I have him just in case. Some others in the mix. I thought the 5 Legitimate, kind of a wild card here, a little bit interesting. This horse crushed a field on a wet fast track. Couple starts back at Santa Anita in a small field. He's another one, though, who earlier on in his career, he wasn't running all that poorly. He was just in some tough races. You see, he was behind horses like Smooth Cruisin', Charlie's to Blame, who's a stakes winner. I think giving him an opportunity to cut back to 6.5 furlongs after showing speed routing, going a little bit longer. Second start back now after the long layoff. I thought Legitimate was also very, very interesting. My top few in here were 8, 5, and 1. Honestly, you could make a case for 8 or 9 of these. Really great race to start. I want to use some of the speed, though, with Mucho Del Oro.
All right, so kind of focusing around 8, 5, and 1. And, of course, George P. just had a great meet, won the Del Mar meet. And the owners there, Purple Rain Racing, Gino, he's a Laker apologist, of course, and that's Jeannie Bus. So we know he'd use Mucho Del Oro. Skipper and a horse for course, of course. We always talk about that 6.5 furlong down the hill, such a unique course. And Mucho Del Oro likes that down the hill. Skipper, what are your thoughts here in the first leg?
Yeah, very tough race as this late pick 5 sequence is. I'm going to be using a few in here. Definitely Mucho Del Oro for all the reasons that Gino said. Loves coming down the hill, and either they love it or they hate it, and that horse loves it. I'm going to mention a couple other ones. Obviously, the one, Anmer Hall's got to be on the ticket. This horse should get a great trip. Peter Urton trains, Fresu rides. Winning Patriot, we always talk about this. The horses that like going a mile, they really like this downhill, course. It seems like it's a little bit farther than 6.5, but obviously it's not. But they like coming down the hill. So I'm going to put the 3 Winning Patriot on the ticket. Another one that I'm going to use at a price is Mescalero, the 6 horse. This horse gets back on the grass. Its first race it won, going the straight 6 furlongs at Santa Anita. They stepped it right into a stakes race. Didn't run too bad. Had a little wide trip, got beat 6 lengths. Then they tried it on the dirt, didn't run very well. They put it back on the grass. This horse worked really good on the 21st. So the 6 is going to be on my ticket. And then the other one I'm going to add also is the 10, Hot Rocket, Michael McCarthy. Here we go again. From a mile going to 6.5 down the hill. This horse ran really good last time. Broke from the way outside, got beat ahead against Uncle Happy at Del Mar. I think this horse will like coming down the hill, and those are the horses I'm going to use. I'm going to be using 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 10. I'm spreading in this race.
So, no, it looks like we're spreading quite a bit. And if Skipper mentioned the 6, DeMiro finally had his coming out party, right, and started to get hot there and kind of made his name on the scene. It's always nice on opening day. We've got all the big boys out here as well. The Ortiz brothers, Rosario, Flavian Pratt. So everybody and anybody's going to be out here opening day. Noah, what do you think about race 7, the first leg here?
Yeah, it's a difficult way to start the late pick 5. If I'm playing that, I'm definitely spreading. I'm a big turf pick 3 guy, so I'm going to try to press up in the turf pick 3 with the one who we mentioned, Anmer Hall, who's just a seasoned pro at this point, got a good record here at Santa Anita. I mean, Hurton took this gelding to Kentucky Downs, for God's sakes, and won that race. So obviously he thinks something of this horse, giving him a break as well coming in here. And then my top pick is the 7, Yakalif, who actually hasn't been mentioned, but is a little bit indicative of how difficult this race is. If you know me, I'm a sucker for claimbacks. Mullins lost this horse for 40 way back in March and got him for 50 back from Hector Palma at the beginning of October, giving him some time. Look at his races real carefully. He's got 2 6-furlong sprints on the flat surface at Santa Anita, where he's got 2 94s at the beginning of March and the beginning of May. Hector gets back aboard. Obviously got a good record here at Santa Anita. He hasn't been down the hill yet, but he does have a good record over the flat. So I'm hoping that that's good for him. I don't know if he'll be 8-1, maybe 5 or 6-1, just because that combination, as we know, is very deadly here at Santa Anita.
No doubt about it. And as Noah mentioned, the reclaim angle, always a good one. And I just saw Jeff Mullins. I just gave him some passes about 5 minutes ago. He looks fit and ready. So hopefully Yaukalev is fit and ready as well. So let's move on to the second leg. Skipper, we're going to you. This is 7 furlongs. The grade 1 La Brea. And interestingly enough, Formula Rosa, the 3-1 morning line favorite, looks like another tough race. What are your thoughts here in the race 8, Skipper?
Boy, another tough race, and what a great race it is. And we have a couple shippers coming in. George Weaver and Riley Mott bring in some horses. I'm going to use the 2. So there she was. Doug O'Neill, Freysu. This horse just tried the Mother Goose and was way outside, 8 out of 9. Did not run bad. Only got beat 5 lengths. Fully subscribed to Chad Brown. Came back and won again. I like this horse shortening up. I really like the work on the 22nd. Broke a little slow inside. Kind of rushed in. Caught the beat the workmate on the inside going into the turn. And then they just kind of, tied it up, turning for home. But I really like that work. I love the price at 15-1. That horse is going to be on my ticket. I'm going to put the 3-5G on my ticket also. Another horse that's going route to sprint, shortening up. George Weaver, he's not going to ship across country unless this horse is ready to go and live. So 3 is going to be on my ticket. Out of the Bafferts, I'm going to use the 6 over the 5 brilliantly. I really like the last 2 works. I really like the work on the 22nd. I know there's a lot of speed in this race, and this horse is part of the speed. I know JJ, I don't know if he chose the 5 over the 6, but I love Pratt getting on the 6. And the thing that scares me with the 5, Usha, the 2 races that it won and looked unbelievable at Del Mar, those were both on Lasix. No Lasix today. The other races haven't been real good without it. So that's a reason why I'm not going to use the 5. I'm going to use the 8, Her Laugh. Riley Mott, as I said, shipping. He's not coming over unless he's got a shot. This horse should get a great trip with all the speed in here. And then I'm in Formula Rosa. This horse, the first 2 starts were lights out. I mean, just great races. Really good times, won easily. The last time in the Rancho Bernardo Grade 3, it was a short field, but they knew they had to beat Sweet Azteca. That was the only horse they had to beat. They kind of shoved it out. They went real fast early. This horse did not give up late. I mean, Sweet Azteca is just a freak and did not run bad. Now it's going back against 3-year-olds. The 9's going to be on my ticket. I got to add the 10 too. 20-1. I like the price. I like the outside draw. I know I mentioned a lot. I'm spreading in here. So on my ticket, I'm going 2, 3, 6, 8, 9, and 10.
So 2, 3, 6, 9, 10. And if you like Brilliantly, you might like Nevada Beach maybe in race.
She was better. She was better than him in that work, wasn't she?
Definitely better than Brilliantly on the 15th. Yeah. Maybe now she's got to run up against Nysos, but Nevada Beach has another worker we'll talk about later that she worked with as well in another race. But
you wonder though. I wonder sometimes Nevada Beach is a pretty good workhorse too. I do wonder sometimes though he's like a distance horse, right? Like he may not be as good in the mornings at 5 or 6 as he is going a mile in an 8th, right? Like so that comparing him sometimes. But I saw the same thing as you. Oh wow, that horse was right there with the Nevada Beach. Absolutely.
Yeah. What are your thoughts here, Noah?
Another difficult race. I'm going to go 3, 8, 9, 11. Skip talks about the 3, 5G. I mean, she just has so many questions to answer with the layoff and cutting back. But just the fact that George Weaver's here and the fact that Irad bothers to ride, I think is probably a telltale sign.
You know what I like too, Noah? She worked at Santa Anita.
Yeah.
Which is nice. We don't see that a lot with the shippers. So at least she's been out here for a little while, got to work in on December the 19th.
Absolutely. And another one that got a work over the surface was the 8, Her Laugh, who would kind of be my tepid topic in here. Won really nicely at a big price on debut and then was kind of thrown into that kind of, Derby Trail or Oaks Trail, as some would say. And she was off for a while with the barn switch to Riley Mott. I thought her comeback race was okay. It was actually a lifetime buyer, so I would expect her to step up a little bit off that. Formula Rosa, I mean, I think she's a must use if you're playing this pick 5. She's just got numbers that completely fit and arguably the horse to beat in here. And then one that I thought was sneaky from the Baffert barn. We talked about the 5, we talked about the 6, but doesn't the 11 have one way to go? Silent Law. I'm going to use her. She was second and a pretty game second to Tamara last time, who would have been the favorite in the Filly Mare Sprint because we saw Copian run in the sprint with the boys. So I thought if she got the lead from the outside, she could maybe get Brave at a big price. So 3, 8, 9, 11 for me.
3, 8, 9, 11. Gino, this, like Noah said and Skipper said, first 2 legs do not look easy. What are your thoughts here?
And I love it. I wanted to mention the one, Simply Joking, who is a horse I've kind of been following along for a while. So she was good earlier on in the 3-year-old season. She's second in the fantasy. And in the Kentucky Oaks, she's only 8-1. I think she was the 3rd or 4th choice in the Kentucky Oaks. Following that race, she's off. She shows back up on October the 18th. Skip, I think you might have given her out that day because she was first time in the McCarthy barn and she was working lights out. I mean, unbelievable. And she had one of the most brutal trips you could ever imagine on October the 18th in the Raven Run. She's out wide, 2 seconds into the race. She's checked. She's in between. She backs up, just completely done. Put a line right through it. But she shows back up in the Bayakoa going a mile, and she faces Hope Road, who was the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint favorite that day. And she's just second best to a horse who was the best Filly and Mare sprinter, didn't win the Breeders' Cup, but Hope Road was very good. I think finished 3rd in the Breeders' Cup. That was, and then wins the Bayakoa by 6+. So, I mean, I'm not really going to knock what she's done in her last couple races. I think they make a lot of sense knowing that she had legitimate trouble. She still continues to work really, really well. Now you're going to go 3rd start off the bench. I think she fits here on the cutback. She can sit off a little bit and close here. The rail draw is tricky, right? Going in a big field like this with a lot of speed. She's going to be a big price, though. You're going to get rewarded for, that post position that she has. And if you're looking at like speed figures and comparing this field, there aren't 100+ buyer speed figures in here. There aren't a lot of horses that have those monster figures. I'm definitely using the one Simply Joking. I had 1, 9, 8 as sort of my top tier of horses, but that's what makes this race so difficult, Chappie. There would only be like 2 horses in here that would shock me out of the whole field. None of them would really surprise me that much.
Yeah. And you got to think, I think 5G will end up going off as the favorite with Irad aboard. And I don't know. I know that horse hasn't ran since March, but you guys, I don't think Formula Rosa will go off as the favorite. You guys think
I think they're going to be like 3 horses right in that similar range, like 3-1, 7-2.
Well, let's move on to race 9 because at least on paper, it looks like another wide open affair, Noah. So
can I set this one up a little bit for Noah before we go to him?
Yeah.
56 total races this year for this field, 5 wins. If you combine the entire field, 1 grade 3 win, Cabo Spirit back in April, 1 other stakes win, Stay Hot in the Texas Turf Classic. The rest, and there's no horse in the field that has more than 1 victory this year. So a total of 5 for 56.
Wow. Well, that sets it up. Good luck with that there Noah. And there you go, Noah. Yeah. Skipper, 2 of your, we always have horses we fall in love with. I don't know if Skip's still on the Stay Hot and Astronomer train, but those are 2 of his back class horses he's always liked. But we'll get back to you, Skip. Back to you, Noah. Sorry about that.
No, it's a tough race. And like Gina mentioned, there's really not a lot of proven commodities, especially just looking at form lines. One of them that I'm a little interested in and it's a slight top pick for me would be the 7 Souchet, who is one of the few winners that has come recently out of the group. I know it was an optional 50 level, but typically those races on the Breeders' Cup undercard are a little bit better than maybe the condition suggests. And boy, he blew the doors off that field. Anytime you beat a field, especially at Del Mar, by 3+ lengths, I mean, that's pretty definitive, I think, in my opinion. So I'm going to use the 7. I'm going to also use the 9 Cabo Spirit, who's another seasoned pro. He could be the speed in here. Wasn't able to get the speed last time in the Seabiscuit, but I think stretching out a little bit here, going that 9 furlongs, he'll be able to kind of control the pace, slow things down, and have a little bit left in the tank late. And then the 911 Turbo, who's just one of those patented horses I've been chasing for a long time. For his last 11, over the last 2 years, but he's got some really good company lines. He lost to two separate two-time winners at Kentucky Downs in Laganos and Quattrocento, who are some very nice horses out there in that Mid-East circuit. And then Wide Trip at Keeneland, I think you can excuse him for. Got a bit of a questionable ride, I thought, from Fresu last time, and I know he's got the 11 post, but it just seems like Hector, if there's anybody out there that's going to work out a trip from out there, it's going to be Hector Berrios. So 7-9-11 in a very difficult San Gabriel for me.
7-9-11, like you said, Suchet was visually very impressive, and Cabo Spirit hasn't been lacking good company throughout his career. So, Gino, what are your thoughts here in race 9, the San Gabriel?
Definitely want Suchet in the mix for the reasons that Noah said it. If you watched Suchet first start in North America, you've been keeping an eye on this horse since, because that was really impressive. Then stepped up, faced tougher company, had a really wide trip, like 2 kind of sneaky trips in a row, then dropped back down, won like an absolute monster in hand, never even asked. Definitely the 7's in the mix for me. The 9, Cabo Spirit, also because of the speed. The horse I really wanted to mention is going to be a massive price in here, who I like a little bit, is the 1, Twirling Point. Okay, so let's just use the 6, Stay Hot, who I think is going to be one of the favorites in here as a measuring stick. Last year, Twirling Point came over, was in the Twilight Derby, was against Stay Hot, was about a length behind Stay Hot in a race where there was legitimate trouble in that day. And then let's look at what Twirling Point has done since that race. You go to the Hollywood Derby, 46-1, legitimate traffic in a race where it was Formidable Man, King of Gosford, and Donegal Momentum. That was a loaded field in the Hollywood Derby. Put a line right through that. So he's off from November to August of this year. Shows back up in November. August the 15th at Del Mar, he has legitimate traffic in a race behind Nesso's Last Hurrah that day. Nesso's Last Hurrah was winning in good form. He's winning on the lead at that point. There was not a lot of passing there. This horse had legitimate sneaky trouble down on the inside. They actually tried the Colonial Cup after that, going 1.5 miles. That's just a little too far for this horse, honestly. He goes 1.5 miles and he goes 1 3/8 last time out. But that 1 3/8 race last time out, he was only 5-2. He finished 5th, beaten 3+ lengths. Balnikov won that race pretty easily. The difference between 5th and 2nd was not much at all. And if Twirling Point did not have trouble, he's finishing 2nd in that race. And then all of a sudden, if you look at his form, and he's got a 2nd last time out, and then at the start of the year, he finished 2nd right behind Nassau's Last Hurrah, he's going to get used a little bit more. This is the type of race where I'm not that concerned with the speed figures as much. We know this is a group of horses that don't like to win a whole heck of a lot. I think people are going to completely dismiss this horse, Twirling Point. I would not be shocked if he's 20, 25-1 or so. And he is not far behind this group. There are no monsters in here. He gets a nice cutback. I think he's really, really interesting. I'm going to have 1, 7, and 9 in most of my exotics. But, I mean, good luck. You probably need 5 or 6 in here to feel comfortable.
Yeah, another spread race, Gino, making a couple good points for some long shots along the way. And don't forget, too, we're definitely going to have some give in this turf course. And a lot of these horses run on firm. So that'll be a little bit of a twist here on Sunday as well, Skipper. So another thing to add to the handicapping toolbox on a wide open day. What are your thoughts here, Skip?
Yeah, here we go. Another tough race. And I'm glad you mentioned about the turf course and that soft footing. I don't know what it will actually be on Sunday since the rain's supposed to stop, but we've got a lot of rain. So there's definitely going to be some give in the grass. So you kind of want to make sure, or look in your past performances and see the horses that have run good with a little give in the ground. So good point there, Chappie. I'm going to be spreading. I'm using the 1 for all the reasons that Gino said. We talked about horses that I've been on and I've stayed on. Mondego is one of them for our buddy Michael McCarthy. I love that Pratt's jumping aboard. I know Karoshi Kamara has rode this horse good and won for me at Del Mar, but a couple of the last 2 out of the last 3 rides, I thought, they could have been better. And I don't like to criticize because, listen, I'm not on the back of the horse. He's a great jock and they do a great job. But I just thought things could have been a little bit different is all I'm saying. So the 2 is going to be on my ticket. Endlessly is another one from Michael McCarthy. I think he's set up for a real big meet. He kind of had a slow, fall meet at Del Mar. I think he's got his horses ready. Watch out for the Michael McCarthy barn here at the big meet at Santa Anita. So I'm going to put Endlessly on 2. And let's go back. This horse was really good back in 23. Then they raced it in the Derby, and it didn't run too bad in the Derby. I know it was beaten 13 3/4 of a length, but it wasn't as bad as it looked. But then it went off form. They brought it back. They brought it back in the Grade 3 American Handicap. Didn't run bad to Cabo Spirit and King of Gosford. Then they shipped it to Saratoga in the Grade 1 Manhattan. Deterministic, went wire to wire there. Far Bridge, we know how good he is. Not too bad. And then in the Wicker, it broke from the way outside. Didn't run too bad. The last time they tried to put it closer to the lead, which this horse does not want to do. I think they take the blinkers off here. It has a win over the track. I think they're going to take hold of it today. Rispoli has rode this horse well, so the 3 is going to be on my ticket. Stay Hot, we already said that. Suchet, we already said that. And then I'm going to go the 8 and 9. I'm spreading. I know it's crazy. I'm using a lot of horses, but I'm going thin late, so that's why I'm using so many in these first 3 races.
And Endlessly, that was one. Everybody gets a little Derby fever, right? That horse is clearly a turf horse. Won the first 3 races. Even the Ammermans, who've been around for a long time, that wins El Camino Real. They kind of jump on the Derby trail and then go back to where they should be on the grass. So, all right, let's move on to race 10, another Grade 1 going 7 panels, the Malibu, Gino, and Barnes, I believe, is the morning line favorite here. And I'm sure you watched that work with Cornucopia, and they worked together last time out. What were your thoughts on this race and that work?
Yeah, they were up on they finished on about even terms. Cornucopian was going better, I think. And I like Cornucopian better than the 2. Now, keep in mind, Barnes has always been kind of a quirky workhorse. Like, he hasn't always been the best in the mornings. He's just a little quirky overall. I don't love him that much in a spot like this, because I think there are some other legitimate nice horses. I wonder with Barnes, like, I never really know which version of him we're going to get, right? He was so good early on in his career. He was like the really highly regarded of the Bafferts. And then in like the Santa Anita Derby, he wasn't even really ridden all that much to try to win the race. It was very strange, but he's come back, ran fine at Saratoga, awful at Parks in one of the weakest fields possible. He just hated that surface. And then he comes back and crushes at Keeneland. I have no idea what you're going to get with him. None whatsoever. I actually like goal oriented, I think, the most in the field. I think he's the most seasoned. He's just kind of battle tested. He's gone long recently, and now he gets that cut back to 7 furlongs. He's drawn well to the outside. I think he can sit off a little bit. I like goal oriented a little bit, and I do think Cornucopian is the horse that has the highest ceiling. I think when you're talking a little bit about Derby fever, Chappie, this is another horse, right, who was awesome winning his career debut. He earns 101 Beyer speed figure. And then in his second start, he goes to the Arkansas Derby going from 6 furlongs to 1 mile and an eighth. And in that race, he got absolutely blistered on the front end in a pace battle, wicked battle. And that obviously took something out of him, because he came back to run after that in New York in a small field, and he just didn't show anything that day. So they just give him time off. Let's start over. And if you're just watching him in the morning, he looks as talented as any of these horses. I do think he's the one that has the highest upside. For me, 8, 10 of the Bafferts. I'll give you one non-Baffert that I like. I am going to include the one, Modus Bestia. I'm a little concerned about the draw, but this horse is in very nice form right now. Just beat an older stakes horse named Comedy Town. That's a pretty solid horse. Took a while to break the maiden, but now 3 straight really good races, including that third when finishing third coming off the bench. So I think the one's interesting. I think I'm going to go 10, 8, and 1, building a lot of my exotics around those.
Yeah, I agree with you on the work with the Cornucopian and Barnes. And goal-oriented toyed with Nevada Beach, who we talked about earlier in that last work on December 21st, if we're comparing horses with different races. But very much in hand. I thought that was very impressive. That would be my top pick as well. And Gino's using every one horse that's 15 to 1 or higher in every race so far, if you notice that.
We got Simply Joking. If we get Simply Joking in, if we get Twirling Point, and then I've even got a 15-1 shot in the back end. So this could be, I just need one or two of them in this pick 5 for it to play well.
If it's all ones, Gino's flying to Vegas right after because he's taking down the
all
whole
4
pool.
of us are flying to Vegas right afterwards. On me.
Skipper, what are your thoughts?
My top play is a 10, goal-oriented. I love the work on the 28th. That was just a solo work. I love the work on the 21st. That was against Nevada Beach. Now, this horse was loaded. Ears were up on the turn. Could have gone by, and they had a stranglehold on it. I love the work. I love when Baffert takes blinkers off. That shows me, that the horse is doing really good. That, I'd much rather prefer blinkers off than blinkers on. And I'm going to use both of the horses that he took the blinkers off. The 8's been training really good. Giant race at Arkansas or at Oaklawn Park first time out, gotten that speed duel. And, considering how fast they went, did not really run that bad in that race, for the second start going that fast. Then something would have missed. Gave it time. This horse is training good, blinkers off. But my top pick is goal-oriented. This horse went really nice at Santa Anita first out. Then Kentucky Derby Day, they shipped it over to, obviously, Louisville, Churchill Downs, and ran nice and won. And then in the Preakness, we know what happened there with the trouble on the turn with journalism. And then this horse didn't run bad in the Haskell. I like this horse cutting back in distance. And I love the blinkers off for all the reasons I said. And I love the way it's working. So my top plays at 10, and I'm going to go 10 and 8. If I add another one, it might be the 5, Midland Money. This horse didn't run bad last time, but he puts the blinkers on. I just said I like when he takes the blinkers off, not puts it on. But I will say a crazy horse in here for superfectas and stuff. The 7, Smooth Cruising at 30-1. I don't think this horse could win. Karen Headley does a good job. Small barn. Her dad was Bruce, of course. This horse is a great underneath horse for tries and supers. Don't be afraid to use the 7.
Smooth Cruising is a complete whack job. Has a lot of talent, but he throws his rider and does all kinds of crazy things. If he gets in the gate, that horse actually has some run. And
right.
Goal-oriented, Noah, if you pick it on top, I think the piano on the back is going to be huge here. Like you said, win-win, then faces journalism, Baeza, and Nisos. And now I think that's all 3 of our top picks. So, Noah, are you going to add to the weight on the back of goal-oriented?
Well, I actually originally didn't have him, but with the discussion, I might be adding him and maybe lock up with the outside 3. I've got 8 and 9 right now. I think Gino's spot on. If anyone pops a big fig and runs off the screen, I think it's going to be Cornucopian. Obviously, you saw his work with Barnes, and I think he's going to be primed and ready to go. And Skip talks about the blinkers off. Cornucopian fits that bill perfectly. And then Barnes, he's been one to judge. I've been right with him. I've been wrong with him. His run in the Perryville was huge. I was there that day. He got a 97 buyer, but the time form, I'm a big time form guy, kind of suggests that could be more in the triple digit range. He's coming off a little bit of a break. Jose comes in to ride him. I'm going to use those 2 and maybe the 10. But we've talked about using a lot of horses. You got to make a decision somewhere in this Big 5.
Yeah, right. So we got a single somewhere, Skip.
Yeah.
So
that will be the last race for me.
Well, here we go. We're finishing it off with another graded stakes, the Grade 1 American Oaks, presented by Cy Games. Skipper, who's your single?
The single for me is the 3, Cliffs. Cherie DeVoe, I love the job that she does. She is such a great horsewoman, and she just is great. She's shipping out here. She's not shipping out here just to run. She's shipping out here because she thinks she could get a Grade 1 at the end of the year, that this horse is really good. I love the races. First out, it doesn't want to sprint. It doesn't want to be on the dirt. Second race, did not run bad, got 5th, beaten 2 3/4 lengths. Then it won at Saratoga in the following race in a really good time, 140 and change. Then they put it in the optional 1,000 claimer non-winners of 1, ran really good with a bunch of trouble in there, got beat 3/4 of a length behind a really, really slow pace. I love that race. And then the last race, also a slow pace at Churchill Downs. This horse still ended up getting up, winning by a head, and this horse galloped out probably 10 in front. The distance won't be a problem for this horse. I love the way that this horse is rounding into form. I think this is a really nice one for Cherie DeVaux. I'm singling the 3. The only thing I'm worried about is the condition of the turf course. I don't know if this horse is going to like the given the ground or not. That's the only question mark for me, but I'm singling the 3, Cliffs.
Well, like you said, you got to take a shot somewhere. A nice 6-1 single. Noah, what are your thoughts here in the final leg?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get out with 210. I might be able to construct some tickets to throw in Skip's 3 as well. It's unfortunate that we don't get the same rendition of this race that we saw last year with another Cherie runner in She Feels Pretty, who was just spectacular that day. The 2 Will Then was a bit of a horse who it didn't really look like she had gone on with much going into her 3-year-old year, but she stepped up big on Buyer Figs last time when she stretched out to 11 furlongs on the red carpet. Part of a hot pace, and I thought fought on well, only lost by 2 to some very nice older horses, whereas she faces straight 3-year-olds. She goes back down in class today, and Pratt's going to get her in a good spot down in that inside post. And then the 10, we've been talking about the condition of the turf course. I mean, if anyone's going to benefit from this turf course, it's going to be this horse right here. Pereira aboard for Baltus. This is a combo that we see multiple times. She's been in some Group 1s and some good Group 1s overseas at Newmarket and Leopardstown and some of those bigger circuits over there on that side of the pond. So I'm going to use her as well. She's been at Santa Anita for a couple works, and I know she's got to stretch out to 1.25 miles, but it seems like maybe with those tougher races going a mile at those circuits, sometimes they can get a little bit further when they come over to the States. So 210 for me.
210 and Skipper single in the 3. Gino, what are your thoughts in the final leg? Another terrific race.
I'm going to give a little tidbit, which I think some horse players like, some don't. But we always are thinking about like our own bets, right? And our own wagers and what we did the last time. And just to give everybody an example of how the last like 6 months have been for me, look at Ribbons to the outside. So if you look at Ribbons' entire form, on September the 28th, I was single to Ribbons for 20 grand, right? And what's funny is that's the only race that Ribbons does not get out of the gate. Of every race, which is just hilarious. Like, I'm alive, singled. The only time she doesn't get out of the gate and I know I'm done is that day. Every other day she fires. And then the next race, she goes right to the lead and wins. Exactly why I singled her on September the 28th. And so now, as a gambler, I always have a tough time with the horses like this, right? That you were wrong about or you were like a race off about, because now I don't want to use them. But then I feel like I have to use a horse like this because if she goes wire to wire from outside, it's like a slap in my face. Nonetheless, Ribbons is going to make the race honest with that pace out there, because Ribbons drawn to the outside and 1,000 miles drawn to the inside. You got some speed to the outside. You got speed to the inside. I think they're both going to go make it a pretty fair pace. I'll give you the 3. I'll give you the 10. Both Noah and Skip mentioned them. They're both on my ticket. My other horse that I'm going to use and probably just build around a lot of the 3 of them is the 6. Take a breath. This horse is a little bit interesting. Look at the 3 races since coming to the U.S. So August the 15th at Del Mar, not a great start. Last of 11, about 10 lengths off. This horse angles out, closes really well. Finishes 4th on the outside. Finished in front of Resolve, Slick, and Will Then, all in that race. Comes back the next start in September. And in that start, this horse got completely sawed off. Brutal trip. Last time out, got caught wide, had absolutely no shot. So if you're looking at this horse off of the first start coming into North America, you're probably going to play her. But if you're looking at her after her last 2 starts, you probably just go right past her and put a line through it. She had legitimate excuses for both of those 2. Talking about speed figures, Noah made a great point. You know, the highest Buyer speed figure in this race is the 88 that Will Then just ran last time out. So this is not a field that has overwhelming speed figures. It's a competitive group, but it's not like She Feels Pretty last year, who was sort of the dominant horse on over the rest of this field. I'm going to throw the 6 in. I have 3, 6, 10. I have to throw the 11 on one of my tickets somewhere just in case the horse gets loose, but a lot of 3, 6, 10 for me here.
You had to bring up Ribbons, didn't you, Gino?
Had to. Because right now when I'm handicapping, when you've had a bad few months, you see these horses come back over and over. You can't get away from them. They keep coming back, and you can't even hide. So Ribbons,
Well,
you owe me one down the line, Ribbons. At least get out of the gate.
You just put Skip and I into a cold sweat because opening day of Del Mar, we were in Vegas and we had 4 or 5, and it paid $150,000, and we had it twice because of a scratch, and we had Ribbons in the last leg at 28-1, and we were too deep with a $40 horse. The leg we missed, we had 6 of the 9 horses, and the one we missed was not hard, and we would have hit it for $300,000. So
this will be one of our favorite horses for a while now, Ribbons.
That was hold my beer on that one, but every time I see Ribbons, I want to. Well, never mind. All right, yeah. John. Skipper, let's get to you first. What are you looking forward to opening day and moving forward?
You know, I'm looking forward to just seeing everybody out there. There'll be a big crowd out there. Everybody's looking forward. I got like 40 people coming with me. It's going to be a big crowd. It's always a tradition for me and my family to go out there, my friends, and just seeing everybody. And the racing will be great. The card's great. I'm so glad they waited a couple days, you know, for the good weather and the good race. You know, it's just going to be great. It's always a good vibe in there to get Santa Anita started and kicked off. It's for this great long meet, and I can't wait to Sunday. I'm looking so forward to it.
No question. Noah, we will be seeing you again. We're going to rotate some of you guys in, obviously. So, are you coming? Are you coming Sunday or no? Are you in town?
No, I'm not. I'm still back at school at the University of Kentucky. If you couldn't tell by the flag that there. But you know, looking forward to Sunday and looking forward to the upcoming shows that we do. And I know we'll have some of you guys on the airwaves over on the HHH Racing podcast. So check your emails when we got some big days at Santa Anita.
Absolutely. HHH, we've been partners with them for a couple of years now, and they are just getting bigger and bigger, and they do great things, of course, and it's great to watch them. So check them out on YouTube, of course. And Gino, you always kind of close it up, wrap it up. We got a lot going on here coming up this week.
Yeah, well, very much second to everyone to watch the HHH podcast. I've been on there a few times with them, but Noah, Howard, Jackson, Ryan, is it Pete and Paul?
Yeah.
Is that the other members of the team?
Yep.
They're all great over there. And recently, they have been crushing it on the contest scene. Check them out. I mean, they're doing shows built around some of the contests too, and they have been doing a fantastic job. If you're a contest player, they will help you. Don't forget about the big contest at ExpressBet this weekend also. There's a Santa Anita huge opening day challenge, and then there's the $40 feeders all the time. You're also trying to get qualified for the Pegasus, the big game coming up at Gulfstream in about a month. And take advantage of some of these free contests. Showviver, Pick'em. If you're a sports fan, this is a great time to play those Pick'em contests because there's a lot of football, college bowl games coming up over the next few weeks, and NFL leading into the playoffs. That's at pick'em.santanita.com. Best way to build your bankroll is when you win money and you don't have to enter any money. If you could win $500 and you didn't have to put anything in, that's an awesome way to do it. Don't forget about what had Noah mentioned earlier, the Coast to Coast Pick 5 and those First Racing Sunset 6 wagers. They're going to be starting back up on Sunday. And anytime there's Santa Anita and there's Gulfstream, you've got those. Heck, we've got a daily racing form sale leading you all the way into the new year. So there is a lot going on, Chappie. This is the unofficial start of the racing year. It's always been. Honestly, opening day at Santa Anita is when the next year of horse racing starts. And we're excited for a big, big Sunday. We'll have all the information you need. Follow us along at Santa Anita on the social medias. And I look forward to seeing all of you out there on Sunday.
Yep. And as Gino mentioned earlier, we mentioned at the top of the show, first post on Sunday, 11 a.m. opening day. Should be terrific. Have a huge crowd here. And you can catch us every Friday after maybe 15 minutes after the last race. We will preview the Pick 5 on that Saturday all through the Santa Anita meet. So this is the first of many. Noah, thanks for joining us. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And we'll see you Sunday here at the Great Race Place. Thanks, guys.
Good luck, everyone.